devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand.
Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. The two of them go flying through the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Jochen Hahn around the outside, and Lucas Hahn, no father and son, come together on the exit of turn one.
And the best thing about this is the fact that it's still a 15-minute sprint race. They've not extended the time of the race. It's still just like, it's going to be, what, 7 laps of Spa-Francorchamps?
Yeah. We get to the real nitty-gritty of motorsport.
Cranston and Smith are side by side for the title in the very final race of the season. As they go back up the hill towards the Schumacher. Nils Core clips the back at 10. Simon Povey clips the side of Nils Core. They go over the hill and Povey's around.
Oh my god, that's going to definitely be the thumbnail, isn't it? Hit me in the right direction. Thank you so much.
23 cars.
Back in 2021, the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship took place, showcasing the bonkers Kia Optima and a number of fictional brands created for the series as a way to provide teams with colour schemes and liveries that avoided any potential copyright implications towards brands or conflicts of interest for the drivers using them. Now, as if plucked from the same universe nearly 4 years later, some of those brands are set to return to your screens. There are no signs of door handles or Kia badges here though, as the latest Chaz Draycott Media branded iRacing series sets to follow in the footsteps of the relatively successful Formula 1, on which the curtain closed earlier this year. Combining action-packed open-wheel racing with the colourful brands and logos of the ETCC gives you my latest offering, Formula CDM. Formula CDM is set to be a group of championships visiting all corners of the globe, with drivers fighting for title honours in individual regions. There is to be a European, American, Oceania and even British championship, all culminating into the one with the most bragging rights, the World Series. The format will make use of a sprint and feature race, the former being short and snappy, rewarding a small points boost at the start of the night, while setting the grid for the latter, a long, tough race with a mandatory pit stop to throw all elements at our drivers. The car used will be the Tatus PM18, known in iRacing as the Indy Pro 2000 PM18, a fantastic little 500 kilo formula car propelled to over 160 miles an hour by 275 of Mazda's finest horsepower. The first season is planned to get underway in October 2025 with 8 meetings across Europe running into January 2026, and the best thing of all, entry fees will be just £5 for the first instalment. From there on, returning drivers will receive a discount on future entry fees, subject to participation. It's bound to be a brilliantly fun world tour in one of iRacing's most underrated open-wheel gems. Formula CDM, coming soon. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to rounds 15 and 16 in Season 4 of the British Boring Car Championship. A big shout out to our championship sponsors, Abruzzi, Derbyshire Holiday Homes and Orris Digital, and welcome everybody to Donington Park. The Grand Prix circuit here at Donington just saw the British Touring Car Championship in the real world visit it recently, and it is certainly a circuit that is a challenge in front-wheel drive machinery on this level. I'm Chaz Draycott, delighted to be joined once again in the commentary box by Ed May. Ed, we've had some fantastic race meetings around here before, but this one could be a little bit more pivotal than we've seen in the past, couldn't it?
Yes, thank you very much, Chaz. The final 4 rounds beckon, don't they, for the British Boring Car Championship. And what a final season it has been. Championship still wide open. Some may come to a close here tonight as well. One driver could even wrap up his championship in this coming first race of the night, Chaz. It's certainly a little wider in the drivers, but in the teams in the mediocre cup for independents, it is still wide open.
It absolutely is, yeah. As you can see here, Jake Cranstone is at the top of the pile by a good margin of 64 points. Sam Van Alster's just got 1 point over his teammate John Bailiff, and Nodaphone lead the team's championship, only just ahead of Mike Just Fit though, with Team Jane Fonda just behind. When you do look at the mediocre cup for independents, it's ridiculously close. It's flipped around in the last few rounds. The absence of JB Masida meant that some of the guys could gain points on him. He's back here tonight once again though, and so too is Togo Hisada, Taylor Adams. I don't know if Eric Manintveld is out there here tonight, but he is right in the charge as well. But the main thing for us, Ed, is the fact that it will be Jake Cranstone that will be champion so long as he isn't outscored by Sam Van Alst by 5 points. We need to keep our eye on everybody else as well. But Jake has been an absolute stalwart of all of the leagues here on Chaz Draycott Media, and right now, I mean, he's looking to take what will be his second ever title in a CDM run series, of course, winning the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge as well a couple of seasons ago.
Yes, and also John Bailiff in the picture as well for the championship. He needs to outscore Jake by 6 points. So Sam needs to outscore Jake by 5, John by 6 to keep the title alive going into the second race of the evening. But before all of that, we do have qualifying to contend with. And already Eric Manintveld is...
No, this is Jake.
This is Jake, sorry. This is Jake we're on board with. It says Eric Manintveld in the bottom left for me, which is what confuses me. Jake, maybe trying to warm up his tyres. That could be
yeah, maybe.
some technique, potentially. We'll see.
Maybe
Just
so.
Lock the handbrake on.
And crack it on. But this is Taylor Adams. He's been having a bit of a topsy-turvy season. Took his first ever Boring Cars win earlier this season. He's going quite well in the Independents as well. You could say that anyway, as he leads the Independents Championship at the moment, but he's got close competition there. Just 6 points back to Erik Manintveld, and then another, well, it's exactly the same actually, 6 points to John Baptiste Mesida as well. We were just saying before we went on air as well, this man here, Togo Hisada, the Japanese driver in the Independence Championship, he wasn't with us for the first 3 race meetings, was he, Ed? But if he would have been, it's very likely that he'd be right in the mix for the championship as well.
Yeah, he's on 60 points currently. Taylor Adams on 88. When you consider that Togo Hisada missed the first 3 rounds of this championship, that's 6 races he's basically not been able to attend. That's a hefty chunk of points.
Well, that's 60 points in the
60 points,
yeah.
Exactly. So he could quite easily be leading it if his form would have obviously been the same in those first 3 race meetings as we've seen from, well, obviously race meetings he's been able to attend. So we see, well, a bit of a car park forming now as all of the drivers trying to find somewhere to gain some slipstream. And, well, we're on board with Kyle Ridley. Doesn't really care about all of that, does he? He wants to just get through, get it over and done with. Not playing any games.
What was that about? All of them just in a huge queue into the last couple of corners. Wow. Crazy stuff. Unfortunately, no Morgan Burkhardt here this evening. Morgan said that he's got a slight gap in his schedule and he could have made it here tonight, but unfortunately was not able to, which is a big shame. But either way, we wish him all the best and hope that if he does get a chance to watch these broadcasts back, he can still enjoy watching them. Foxy's back on track. He's heading up to McLean's right now, chasing down the likes of Stuart Clark, Ben Bennyworth, and I think ahead of them is Togo Hisada. He's run wide there was Andy, and this lap will not count as a result of that. But this circuit, Ed, I mean, it's a high-speed track, so we're not going to see all the overtaking in the world here tonight, but really does require a lot of commitment from these cars, doesn't it?
Yeah, we are going to be seeing the Grand Prix layout used tonight after what we saw in the earlier part of the season where it was the National. So instead of going right through the chicane, instead they go left for this other chicane in towards the Melbourne Loop, or the Melbourne Hairpin, I don't know how you want to call it. Might see a little bit more overtaking as a result of this heavy braking zone. Does tend to open out. Look how wide the entry is as well, means that you can fit multiple Jettas side by side, and well,
we will.
If if previous iterations of the British Boring Car Championship were anything to go by, we will absolutely see multiple Jettas side by side through there. Look at the lock brought on there, nearly 720 degrees put through the steering wheel through Andy Fox there. As we see the first times coming on to the board, Taylor Adams leads the way with a 1:46.9. Oh, Fox just behind him there, 7/10 shy of that effort. Where is Cranstone? He's the driver we're going to be keeping our eyes on as well. We're on board with him now, powering out of the final corner. He's got plenty of help up in front of him, doesn't he? That's one of the Motorphone cars.
John Bailiff, that one just in front of him there, and Cranstone goes second quickest behind Taylor Adams, ahead of Stephen Burns, ahead of Sam Van Alst. Importantly though, it was Taylor Adams that was fastest in practice as well, and it's amazing because he's done that lap without any slipstream from anybody. He's way out in front of the field and has done that lap a good few tenths faster than anyone else can manage, and yeah, like I say, had no assistance whatsoever. A few invalidated laps on the first attempt. It's good to see Erik Manintveld is out there on the circuit, but he's going very slowly at the moment. I think just staying out of the way there of Taylor Adams as Taylor makes his way through. But Erik again is right in the fight for the Independence Championship. It's going to be really cool to see how that comes down to the wire. Obviously they have a different points system over in that championship, so instead of having the 20, 15, 13, 12 and so on, those guys have got just 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 because there's only 8 independents in the championship, so there's not as much to separate them, and we've seen it, haven't we, multiple times, Ed, where the championship overall is very different. You know, some of the guys in the overall championship, I mean, JB Mesida is the highest placed independent overall, and he has 7 points over Taylor Adams, but when you look at the Independence Championship, he's actually 6 points behind Taylor Adams, so it works really well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Means obviously, like we've mentioned in previous rounds, the drivers have pretty much everything to fight for, don't they? They will battle between one another up and down the field, especially if we do get 2 of the independents close together. If they are outside of the overall points, there's still obviously those championship points to contend with, which does incentivise them to battle and to fight and to give great entertainment up and down the field. Seeing now Jake Cranstone go to the top of the pile by 16 thousandths of a second. Taylor Adams, again, struggling a little bit just because he doesn't really have the assistance from anyone else around them. If we want to have a look at the track map, one of my favourite bits of qualifying is where we can see sort of the little groups and packs that form when all of the drivers try and work together. You can see the biggest one is the one that Jake Cranstone finds himself right in the midst of, that number 2 illustrated on your screen there.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, isn't it, how close all of them really are there. But the likes of Taylor Adams, yeah,
65, wasn't he? Just way off by himself there, coming into the Melbourne Loop. No one around him. There's one driver just a little bit further back from him.
I think that's Eric Manintveld, is it not? He was holding back from Taylor. Yeah, he let him through just a lap or so ago, and now, of course, makes it around towards the end of the lap. No valid time yet from Eric. He's going to be hoping to get one on the board soon. John Bailiff doesn't have a valid time on the board yet either. Patrick Dopart down in 6th place. Mere thousandths of a second off the back of Sam van Olst. Sam and John are the ones with a lot of targets on their back, really, because they're two of the guys that are closest to Jake Cranstone in the championship to stop him winning it, at least in the first race. But also, they're the guys that lead the team's championship at the moment as well, from Might Just Fit, Jake and his teammate Duncan Murray. So I think it's important to keep our eyes on this. Ed and I do have a little spreadsheet that we're going to keep our eyes on throughout the night and keep making sure that we've got, obviously, all of our numbers in check. And to be honest, if my maths from the past weekend of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is anything to go by, you shouldn't trust my maths at all. Spent the whole weekend talking about the fact that one driver was moving up to second in the sort of second category of racing, and it was not the case because he'd lost 3 points from the Nürburgring earlier in the season that I didn't know about, and he was further down than I thought. So, you know, it's one of those things. But luckily I'm the series organiser here, so I can just do what I want and tell them that they've got as many points as they want. But we've got a good night ahead of us with that, though, haven't we, Ed? Because, I mean, we've seen the championship move around so much.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to go full Dumbledore. 15 points to Taylor Adams. Just, why not, eh? You're in charge, you can do what you want. But we'll see, obviously, how it goes for Cranstone. At the moment, he is leading the championship, also leading in qualifying. You see drivers just moving through motions again. It tends to be as the session carries on, lap times get faster and faster. Taylor Adams going through for what's going to be his next attempt at a lap, but don't think he's going to be improving there. Yellow all across the bottom of our timing screens there means that he's not having any personal bests. He may have just slightly backed off a touch. I was going to say to try and find the switching, but no, he's yet again finding himself all by himself out there.
He really is.
Not really what you want to be doing, because these Jettas are so sort of dependent, really, aren't they, on the slipstream to get a quick lap.
Yeah, that's very true. You need to be sort of playing with the pack. You need to be playing with the rest of the crew, and you can see here that they're all sort of taking turns, swapping and changing who's the leader and who's not. JB Masida, who's had a lot of pace this season, is actually down in 10th. He peels off into the pit lane. So too does Patrick Dopart. The two of them probably heading in for fresh tyres because they've probably killed the fronts in the opening laps here. They know they don't have to make them last for the whole race, as Cranstone goes even quicker, a 1:46.798 for Jake now. Just extends that gap slightly, while Andy Fox extends the final corner slightly, with a wide line on the way in and a good run on the way out. And he, again, another one that's not taking up any slipstream from anybody right now. He's all the way on his own.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, really. It's not really the conventional route, but again, around here at Donington Park, because of how strong the slipstream is in these Jettas, you're flat out for so much of the lap. Like you mentioned, Chaz, a high-speed circuit does probably lend itself to a little bit more of the pack battling, the slipstream working to bring the moves more to the forefront. We saw a lot of action, actually, earlier on in the season at the earlier round here when we were at the national circuit, especially when we were coming up through McLean's and Coppice. We saw a lot of action around there, just because of the way that drivers could get a little bit unsettled through the old hairpins, some slower runs, some drivers on quicker runs. Did lend itself to that imbalance, which is what brews those battles and lets them boil over a touch. And I do think that obviously the GP one, the GP loop, should give us a little bit more excitement as well with that hairpin towards the end of that. But Only time will tell. John Bailiff just out on his outlap now. Was in the pits earlier. Now getting onto the circuit. He's one of the drivers to look out for, isn't he, in terms of this championship fight. His teammate Sam Van Alst as well. Whereas Van Alst, he's only 8th fastest. Not good enough if he wants to keep the championship dream alive.
Interesting season as well for the two Vodafone drivers. Just having a look at their results, both of them have had, well, between them they've had 3 second places in the last 3 races. Between them all season they've had 10 podiums, but no race victories for Vodafone all season. They are the highest placed drivers in the championship without a race win. Stephen Burns in 4th has had a race win. He's had 2 actually. JB Masida has also had 2. Kyle Ridley, no wins for him, only 2 podiums, and he finds himself 6th in the championship. But it's Jake Cranstone and Morgan Burkhardt that have taken the majority of the wins so far this season. Good lap time by Duncan Murray last time round, Ed. He's actually moved himself up now into 3rd position. Duncan's been fighting for some of the lower spots throughout the championship, he won't mind me saying, but I tell you what, he's doing really well here in this qualifying session now, and that's going to help the Might Just Fit team in the championship, of course, because they are fighting with Vodafone, just 8 points between the 2 squads.
Yeah, and again, we cannot discount Team Jane Fonda from all of this. It's been pretty close all the way through the field. Stephen Burns is, I think, actually the only driver. I know Kyle Ridley is there as well. Not having the greatest qualifying session, though, are they, Jane Fonda? Consider sort of their strong pace earlier on in the season. It's not really been shown here tonight.
No, I think it's interesting how the pace can change one way then the other in this championship. You know, this car, as we've always said, it's easy to drive, but it's hard to get a lot of pace out of. It's hard to make it rapid. And these guys, a lot of them have been doing it for a long time. They've raced against each other for a long time as well. In other championships, a number of them coming over from the Racing Line Jetta TDI Cup that Jack Johns used to run. And now, a healthy squad here in the British Boring Car Championship, for which I'm grateful as well. They're a lovely bunch of guys to have around. Really good sense of humour between them all as well. Great camaraderie. As you'll see at the end of the races here tonight, there'll be some massive accidents because the drivers, once the race is done, just pile into one another. Duncan Murray actually was handed back a load of championship points after last time because he finished 4th in the second race at Donington, Alton Park, and he had a little bit of fun after the line, and it disqualified him on the spot and meant that he wasn't classified in the race, but he absolutely was. We watched him cross the line in 4th, so he regained those championship points, and he is now 13th in the championship, tied with Ben Bennyworth, but amazingly behind he's behind Togo Hisada. That's the sort of camaraderie I was on about, everyone. Let's have a look at Sam Van Elst do this again. He just decides the lap is done, and see it. Ouch. I remember Kelvin Burt being put into the barrier by Gabriele Tarquini during the BTCC Masters in such a fashion. And I tell you, if you ever see that incident, please try and convince me it is not an intentional wipeout from Tarquini. If I remember rightly, him and Kelvin Burt had a lot of rivalries back in the British Touring Car Championship. And Seat got very brave in 2004. It was when they had the Seat Leon Super Copas. I think they put about 18 to 20 of them out on the circuit at Donington as part of the BTCC race weekend, and there was the likes of Plato, Cleland, Menu, Beeler, Tim Harvey, all sorts of drivers that had won championships, got close to it, loads of touring car legends all against each other in a mammoth race. And I'm pretty sure that Tarquini could have been done for attempted murder in that race. They were going out of the old hairpin, and he just left-hand downs Kelvin Burt in the most obvious way I've ever seen. And Kelvin has a mammoth accident. It is a horrific crash, but luckily Kelvin was okay. But yeah, it was pretty scary. What is scary is Jake Cranstone's consistency. He takes pole position once again. Taylor Adams alongside him after great pace in practice. Duncan Murray is going to be a rear seat gunner here ahead of John Bailiff, who tries to keep Jake from winning the championship. Basically, the Vodafone driver of Sam Van Olst needs to win this race with Jake in second. Well, to be fair, as long as Sam wins, he's all good. But if John wins, he needs Jake third and lower. So it's going to be feisty, this. It's Stephen Burns, Andy Fox, Togo Hisada, Sam Van Olst, Patrick Dopart, JB Masida, Kyle Ridley, Ben Bennyworth, Eric Manintveld, Stuart Clark and Aaron Smith to complete our field. And the view back here from Jake Cranstone starts on the inside line What do you think, Ed? Is he going to get it wrapped up in this race? We've seen him do this beautifully in races one and, well, in race one of the night before, I should say.
Yes, he's certainly been very good off the line, but I wouldn't discount Taylor Adams from this race as well. He put in a great effort in qualifying without any slipstream assistance, so we'll see what he can do in behind Jake Cranstone. Could definitely be one to upset the party, and then if Jake gets shuffled back into the pack, who knows what could happen. So there's still a lot to think about, but the lights are about to go green and we're about to go racing for the first time here tonight.
Are we about to see Jake Cranstone take the title in the British Boring Car Championship, or will John Bailiff and his teammate lengthen the season? Let's have a look, shall we? We're underway for round 15 of the season, and it's a very equal and tidy start from just about everybody. Look like the AI driving away from the line. Looks like a good start from John Bailiff, though. He's around the outside of Duncan Murray, very importantly. Those two rubbing wing mirrors already on the exit of the first corner. Everyone keeping it nice and tidy further back as well. Patrick Dopart has got Kyle Ridley behind him now. Kyle has gained a place, so too has Ben Bennyworth. JB Masida has lost 2. John Bailiff ahead of Duncan Murray, but they're still side by side into the old hairpin for the first time. Not easy to get through here without incident on the first lap. Patrick Dopart gets a great run on Togo Hisada. Slow down penalty further down for Eric Manintveld. But what a lovely first couple of corners there, Ed. Really tidy stuff.
Yeah, really, really impressive there from Dopart just to get that run. You could see the battle was happening up ahead, too wide, and Edge's bets back the drive around the outside to get the better run. Smart move, has seen him gain a position rather easily there, and now we're on board with Taylor Adams, who's battling with Jake Cranstone as Duncan Murray's got himself a slowdown. And on the opening lap here, the slowdowns are absolutely lethal. It doesn't have a reference, a delta time to go off of, so it's just going to hemorrhage so much time. We'll see if he's able to serve it properly.
Dopart's
got one. And all of that hard work seemingly going down the drain.
Look at Van Ulst. Sam Van Ulst down the inside there, makes it 4 wide into the hairpin. Somehow they sorted all that out, and Van Ulst in just a flash has gone up from 7th up into 4th place. I don't know if he's going to make it stick because Stephen Burns is on the inside, but what this does is help John Bailiff move forward to go chasing after Jake Cranstone. Patrick Dopart has only just served his slowdown penalty. Luckily for him, he's not actually lost a place from where he started. He's side by side now with Togo Hisada in the background, the 2 shiny silver cars. Sam Van Ulst has gained 3 places on that opening lap. Duncan Murray has lost 4, and that's going to be important again for the team's championship because it means that they will not be in direct fighting with each other. But what we do know for now is that with Jake Cranstone race leader, it means that he is going to win the British Boring Car Championship if it stays like this.
Yeah, that was a really gutsy opening lap there by Sam Van Ulst. Put his car exactly where he needed to be, judged the battles around him perfectly, backed the right horses to, speed on through. It's so important in these races when you see cars in front of you battling is to pick the right path to follow them through. Drivers that lose out do get shuffled back into the pack pretty promptly just because of how close all the racing is. Once you get forced offline, it's very difficult to get back on it without losing any more positions. Jake Cranstone, Taylor Adams still nose to tail. Taylor really making Jake work for it out in front. And to put a lot of defensive moves here and there, but more filling the wing mirrors more than anything else. Jake Cranstone currently feeling pretty comfortable right now by the looks of things. So obviously through that chicane, drivers need to be so careful through there because, well, oftentimes we see those slowdowns. We already saw a few drivers actually pick them up earlier, didn't we? They can really ruin your race.
Oh, Stephen Burns going hot into the hairpin there. He just skated his way past Sam Van Ulst. It was like someone put butter down out the back of Bailiff's car. Andy Fox in the mix as well in 6th position. Good qualifying from him to be right up near the sharp end. Look at that. Stephen Burns is putting his nose down the inside to sort of send a message here to John Bailiff, but it's not working out. Togo Hisada and Kyle Ridley changing places in the background. Togo's making his way back through. JB Masida having a bit of a scrap. Look at that. All of a sudden, one move and it splits the field in half. Back further up though, we need to look at this because Stephen Burns is trying his best to keep Sam Van Ulst behind. Sam is really good at attacking. We remember back to Brands Hatch last time out, Ed, these two were inseparable. I think half of Sam Van Ulst's car ended up stuck to the back of Stephen's car, didn't it?
There it did. Look at the fair of the nose to tail.
Oh,
a little bit of a check up into the old hairpin.
Hold your
Look at
breath.
the run now out of the corner. He's got such a great run, so Sam Van Os, but he can't really make anything of it. Burns is making his Jetta as wide as possible. I think Sam's actually trying to push.
Oh no!
We'll give him a hurry up, but all of a sudden that might have been a bit too much speed into McLean's, and now he's been shuffled back, and Andy Fox is going to take a position.
Andy Fox trying to look for it as well. We've got Ben Bennyworth here chasing down Togo Hisada and JB Masida side by side as they come out of Coppice. Leader though, Jake Cranstone, still holding on to this, and John Bailiff I think will be a little, I mean, doesn't really get nervous. We know that John is one of the most confident drivers in the championship, but I think he'll be a little bit nervous here, knowing that he has to play his cards absolutely right. We've seen John be a very sort of no reward without risk sort of guy before. You know, he's always late on the brakes. He's always good at sending it down the inside. There's always a bit of contact as a caveat to that. But here, I don't know if we're going to see that much of it from him, because he knows that Taylor Adams is already trying to chip away. And how good is this from Taylor Adams, by the way? He hasn't raced the Jetta before this season. Jake is one of the best Jetta racers, if not the best Jetta racer on iRacing. And Taylor's able to stick with him around a circuit like Donington. He's been so good at this, as Taylor.
Taylor's been really, really smart. He's just biding his time, knows that you're not going to win the lap in the first, or win the race, sorry, in the first few laps. He's just waiting and trying to maybe actually work with Jake. They've got a little bit of a buffer now to John Bailiff and Sam Van Os, who are now together, the two Vodafone teammates. They can start to help one another out. Sam Van Os so quick out of the old Pep. He's got that corner really nailed on. It's an important one as well because of this long run uphill. Any momentum you can carry at the bottom of the hill helps you out massively at the top of the hill. These Jettas don't have the biggest grunt, so going uphill is a bit of a struggle for them. It means that it's more amplified, the benefit of the extra momentum.
Sam is
in most
flying.
corners around here. He is really rapid, yeah.
He is absolutely on a mission up to the back of his teammate here is Sam. Really climbing up the order. We'll see. He's just going to give him a little shove now down towards the chicane. Backs off slightly, knowing that John's going to brake early. But watch again. Just his car placement seems so spot on. He's able to just get it turned in and get it working on the exit like no one else can. But is that shredding the tyres quicker than those around him? Is that the caveat to this? Is that the trade-off? I'll have to see. It's lovely to see those two cars right together with each other, and the red banner and the blue banner, because that's just my childhood lit up, that is. I used to say Primera on it. I always remember Leroy Aiello and David Leslie, the two red and blue banners. Leroy Aiello making a single year appearance in the British Touring Car Championship in 1999 and winning it as Duncan Murray runs wide into the final corner, trying to get past Andy Fox, and Patrick Dopart is a bit of collateral there. And Kyle Ridley has to try and take advantage of that. Togo Hisada just behind, I think. Patrick just able to slot in front. Whole field, though, once again, Ed, separated by just 8 seconds. Really close stuff here.
Ever so close. Donington Park, never a disappointing racing circuit, as it always brings out some exciting moments. Like you say, Togo Hisada, fastest man on track right now. Well, he lost 3 places at the start. He's doing everything he can to try and regain them. Closing in on Kyle Ridley. Patrick Dopart, and that
watch Murray and Fox.
Train of Jettas up in front. Yeah, Fox way off the circuit, rejoining.
I think there's
any sort of contact, but yeah, it's really sketchy stuff. This is, you can see just up in front. That's Murray battling with Dopart. Careful. Dopart really trying to make his Jetta as wide as possible, forcing Murray into all sorts of uncomfortable positions, helping Andy Fox out massively as well. We saw Andy miles off the road, but that wasn't really punished because of the battling that happened in behind him.
I think, to be fair, this is going to be a bit far back. Excuse me while I fast forward. I hate fast forwarding on iRacing, but it's the only way we can get to this because nothing really happened between the two. So nothing was, well, we weren't in a position to be able to look at this in a different way. But Duncan Murray got a great run on Andy Fox here, look, down the craners. And he's going to hit Andy when they get to the bottom of the hill quite hard, I think, and that's why the both of them ended up off the track. I think he gets into the ABS when the car gets... Oh, no, he just drives into the back of Andy, just way late on the brakes. And then all of a sudden he gets pounced on by Patrick Dopart. So, yeah, Duncan not having a clean race, to say the least, but, God, they're all so stuck together still. It's great to see it. all of the top 4 setting their personal bests on that last lap. So the pace is just getting better and better here. They're not killing the tyres and slowing down. But look, Bailiff and Van Olst cannot do enough. Taylor Adams is doing everything he can do to get at Jake Cranstone, but Jake has just pulled out 1/10 of a second on that previous lap. It's a champion's drive at the moment, Ed, and it'd be very Cranstone-esque, wouldn't it, to win the championship with 3 races left to go.
Certainly looking very good for this man who's put in a lot of work earlier on in the season to be in the perfect position now. He's really reaping the rewards of his consistency, even when he's had setbacks. He's just got his head down and really just kept on going. I think it was at Thruxton where he had that race way down at the back of the grid after an early incident, and then just worked on hard to get back up onto the podium. It was so impressive, and
yeah,
it just shows that he's got a lot of pace, but as well that consistency has been key across the whole of the season. See, obviously Adams in behind him, a driver that we'd seen so much promise and pace from, but that first victory had just eluded him until recently, of course. So Adams now looking to try and get more victories to his name. Well, he's forcing Cranstone to make some slightly more defensive moves than he was probably making a little bit earlier on in the race.
Yeah, he's certainly acknowledging him, isn't he? As Stuart Clark and JB Masida losing places here. Ben Bennyworth has gone through on these guys. What on earth has happened here? Wow, flying formation down towards the hairpin. I think Eric Maninfeld's going to get a good view of this. Oh, the two of them are just on the outside and everyone else just scoots on through. It wasn't any contact or anything like that, but yeah, great battling going on further down the order there. You only get points down to 15th, so everyone's going to get points if they finish. I was just looking at Jake's record for this season, and that first visit to Brands Hatch where we went to the Grand Prix circuit onwards was just amazing. Between the 3 race meetings at Brands Hatch, Snetterton and Thruxton, and even then race 1 at Alton Park, he didn't finish off the podium for 7 races straight. He's only had 4 races this season where he's not been on the podium. It's pretty amazing, to say the least.
Very, very impressive, this man, Togo Hisada, again, after that early phase of the race, and that most recent phase actually as well, where he's seemingly catching up. It's just now dropped back from Kyle Ridley massively. Patrick Dopart, meanwhile, is going to be, well, going side by side, isn't he, with Duncan Murray. These two have been at each other's throats for, well, at least the past 5 laps, and they're continuing to do so now. Kyle Ridley, he's going to try and reap the rewards of them going side by side through Coppice to try and take both of them, but he's found a bit of a rolling roadblock. He's going to push Duncan Murray along, hoping that that's going to help him out to maybe squeeze around the outside of Dopart, but no luck there. Backs off massively, lets these two figure it out. Probably anticipates a bit of an accident. Thankfully, Dopart and Murray, that does not come, but gets a great run for Kyle Ridley. Way out, now in towards the Melbourne hairpin. He's going to find his way around the outside of Dopart. Can he find his way all the way around the outside of Duncan Murray as well? No, not quite, but Dopart fights him back on the inside. They continue on side by side. Duncan Murray's going to try and use this as an opportunity to break away from the pair of them. And then Dopart finally slots in behind Kyle Ridley. Kyle made up a little bit of a place there for some great car placement. Saw the battle occurring and just picked his moment brilliantly.
Yeah, really tidy stuff that by Kyle Ridley. Doing what he can do when he can do it. He now needs to try and get past Duncan Murray, whose car says, I've defended myself enough. He's got an absolutely caved-in front right like a Vauxhall Cavalier in Bradford. But I tell you what, it's certainly got good pace about it. And Duncan is making sure that the back end of that car is just as wide as the front. Taylor Adams has just gained a little bit of momentum on Jake Cranstone there. I think one of them ran wide through the old hairpin. Our little timing thing just sort of blipped up as if there'd been something go on. But the top 4, they've started to clear off here. 3.7 seconds away from Stephen Burns, who is taking Andy Fox with him. Those two have got no dramas, but it's Duncan Murray and just about everybody else piled in behind him, look. It's the Duncan train.
They're all just going for it, aren't they? Right in behind, like you mentioned. It's great though, isn't it, that these battles can occur up and down the field. Even though Duncan's dropped back a little bit from Andy Fox, there's still that battle right with him. And Kyle Ridley, he's had some great paces. Qualifying wasn't really what we used to see though, is it, from Kyle? So he's making up for it, up 3 places from where he started. Team Jane Fonda scored some decent championship points, not anywhere near as much as Nodaphone at this moment in time, and might just fit as well with Jake Cranstone leading the way. Duncan Murray in 7th. Strong points for them as well. means that the team's championship is probably going to still be as close as it ever was after this round of the championship at the very least. John Bailiff up in third place at the moment. Not enough to keep the championship fight alive as Jake Cranstone leads. We've got 5.5 minutes to go. And those are, 5.5 minutes for John Bailiff and Sam Van Os to, try and do something about Jake Cranstone's lead of this race. Taylor Adams, though, is a bit of an obstacle in that ambition, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's a strange one because he's both an obstacle and a bit of a tool here, because he's helping them stay with Jake by providing a bit of slipstream, but then when they get close enough, he is in the way. Like, they have to try and fight their way past Taylor without then losing Jake. And I don't know, I'm going to have a quick look now and see. No, Taylor is not in the same voice chat as these guys. John and Sam, and even Jake, to be fair, are all in the same voice chat in the British Boring Car Championship Discord server. As no, Togo Hisada, with a slowdown penalty, has to get out of everybody's way. He's lost 7 places in this race. He's having a really bad time of it, as Dopart has been off the road trying to chase down Kyle Ridley. But yeah, the 3 of the top 4 could possibly be choreographing this, with the fact that they're all in the same chat. There are currently 8 of them all in the same voice chat together, and it's lovely to see that. They do talk to each other as the race goes on. They have a good chinwag, because like I say, it's not a hard car to drive, it's just hard to get speed out of it. As Taylor Adams has found enough speed out of it there, though. Out with the chicane, he's got a great run. Are we going to see Jake Cranstone lose the race lead for the first time? There's a bit of movement on the brakes from both of them. Taylor Adams goes through. Jake turns into the rear corner of Taylor a little bit, expecting him to have gone way further in. Taylor's trying to scare him to the inside of the circuit now. All the way over to the right. I think Jake's going to get this back, you know. He's got to be careful not to get too into the ABS, but watch Sam Van Olst, watch John Bailiff here. This is going to get spicy now. 4 minutes left to go, side by side for the race lead. And if Cranstone finishes, well, just ahead of these guys, then he still wins the championship. He could let Adams go here and try not to fight Bailiff and Van Olst too hard. Adams down the inside makes it. Bailiff tries to get the cutback. He's going to try and get that lead as well, but he doesn't want to make it 3 wide. He doesn't want to risk too much here. Taylor Adams gets the lead, Ed.
Yeah, Taylor Adams has the lead, but for how much longer? Because Cranstone, he's going to fight this all the way down through the crane of curves in towards the old hairpin. Here we go. Cranstone round the outside. He's going to use a lot of that momentum to help him up the rise over the hill. Brilliant run. That momentum is going to help him all the way up towards McLean. The 2 Nodaphone cars go side by side, Bailiff and Van Olst. No love lost between the pair of them as Taylor Adams, he's now going to go for it all the way around the outside of Jake Cranstone. Is he going to keep that overlap and that momentum out the corner? No, instead looking for a cutback, potentially up towards Coppice. Luke gives it a little look to the inside. Cranstone has a half defensive manoeuvre, but again, not enough to really sacrifice too much speed. The pair of them nose to tail now as they make their way towards the chicane. Can Adams force a mistake out of Cranstone? We're going to see potentially yet more battling in towards the Melbourne hairpin yet again, which we saw on the last lap, but it's really starting to hot up now for this battle in the lead of this race, and potentially a championship defining battle as well.
Sam Van Olst is the biggest mover in this field as well, with 5 places gained, starting 8th on the grid up to 3rd. What a great drive for him this is, as Taylor's gone deep. Sam down the inside, but he's also late on the brakes, has to try and tuck it in. Oh, it's gotten messy, and they're going to lose Cranstone at this point. Masida has had a slowdown penalty, so he needs to stay out of the way of all of this lot. He's going to lose places in the Independent Championship, but Jake Cranstone now leads this race with a good gap back to Sam Van Olst and John Bailiff. I was always thinking, though, you know, it's the right way round to get Van Olst in front of Bailiff, because he's the one with the extra point that could just help them against Jake Cranstone. We're going to get 2 laps left to go here at Donington Park in the British Boring Car Championship. But very importantly, Jake Cranstone leads this race by 7/10 of a second. And considering how this race has gone for him so far, that is a mammoth gap, isn't it, to have to those guys behind?
Yes, and I think it's going to be a struggle, even though Sam Van Olst, he's been, I think, the quicker of the 2 Nodaphone cars. It's a lot of time to try and make up around here. You can already see, while he's able to slowly but surely creep a little closer. Not close enough, that gap is still 7/10 of a second. He ideally wants it to be around about half a second, probably maybe even 4/10 of a second at this phase. Because, well, you can only really battle close if he comes over the line, Mount maybe nose to tail, about maybe 2/10 back as he starts the second lap, or the final lap, sorry.
Ooh, that's
See, he's running a little bit wide. That's going to slow him down massively, and he's going to lose out. And that potentially hands the championship to Jake Cranstone. He just needs to have an accident and mistake-free final lap, and this could be Jake Cranstone's championship-defining moment.
It's incredible, isn't it, how a tiny little off like that could change the championship and hand it to somebody, but that's just how it goes in this sort of racing. Jake has been supreme so far, and there's going to be one lap to go, but I think these guys have just, well, they've basically conceded to the fact they're just going to fight each other now and just go for individual points rather than thinking about the bigger picture, because, let's face it, Ed, you know, we're speculating on whether Jake's going to have an incident-free and clean last lap. Of course he is. It's Jake Cranstone. He's one of the finest drivers we've ever had the joy of commentating on. He's great in everything he races in, and he certainly proved it here in the British Boring Car Championship. This is epic between this lot. We've got two independents here fighting for second and third, and to be fair, they're the two that are tied on points as well. JB Mesida and Eric Manintveld. There's going to be 2 points going the way of whichever of these two finishes ahead, but they've got Togo Hisada right behind them. Taylor Adams is going to extend his lead in the Independents Championship by 2 points just to one of these pair. I don't know who. And he's having a good old run.
Battle for the reverse grid pole position, because just in front of them, Ben Bennyworth occupies that 10th place spot. So there's lots to fight for here for the championship as well, because obviously that would help out JB Mesida or Eric Manintveld for that next race to have such a big margin ahead of their championship rivals. Speaking of the Independence Championship, despite Taylor Adams being up in 3rd place, he's only scoring, 2 more points than JB Mesida down in 11th.
Yeah, that's just how it works. That's why we love the Independent Championship so much. It is so close, no matter what the overall result is, as long as you are ahead of just those few. I mean, the most independents I think we've had in a single race all season has been 6. So no, that's a lie. It's been 5. So it's been ridiculously close all season with them, with separation of just 2 points between a win and a second place, then 2 points back from second to third, and then 1 point back for every position then. So it's been crazy close between all of them. I think something's kicked off. It's just slowed down into the chicane. Sam Van Alst and Taylor Adams are going to fight until the end. But just up the road, everybody, I want to see as many clap emojis as we can fit in the chat. Jake Cranstone is about to round the final corner and take his 7th win of the season. But with it, he takes the 4th and final season of the British Boring Car Championship. Cranstone does it. He has won the title here at Donington Park with 3 races left this season, and he has proven supreme once again. Sam's going to come and congratulate him. There you go. That's how you do it in boring cars. Fantastic stuff. JB Mesida ends up in 2nd place in the Independents, ahead of Ben Bennyworth. Togo Hisada next up as well. God, they're all having an absolute massacre on the gravel. And it is over, Ed. I mean, we've still got 3 races to do this season, flipping heck, but Jake Cranstone, he takes the title here at Donington Park with a great result.
Yeah, it would always be with a win, wouldn't it? Jake Cranstone, his ability in those first races to manage everything. It's completely in his control where he qualifies, where he starts, and then how he goes about retaining the lead of the race. A brilliant way to round off what has been a brilliant championship for Jake. But as one sort of championship fight comes to a close, 2 more are still wide open, aren't they? The teams close as ever, as are, of course, the Independents Cup. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that for the remaining 2 championships as the season goes on. But I'll tell you what, that is a brilliant championship victory from Jake Cranstone. With so long to go in the season as well, just 3 more races where Jake can maybe wear the number 1 with pride. Obviously can't change it mid-session, but it certainly will be for the final race of the season.
I was going to say, I think I may change that for him in the final race meeting. We'll have to wait and see. But still, Jake takes the victory, his 7th of the season. John Bailiff and Sam Van Alst, I tell you what, they did everything they could, didn't they, in that final moment there to try and get back at him. But they do a good job for Nodaphone in the Teams Championship. We'll do the maths as time goes on. Taylor Adams takes another win in the Independents. Stephen Burns finishes in 5th ahead of Andy Fox. Duncan Murray was 7th. Still strong points for Duncan, ahead of Kyle Ridley, Patrick Dopart and JB Mesida. And then the rest of that gaggle was Ben Bennyworth, Togo Hisada, Eric Manintveld, Aaron Smith and Stuart Clark ended up at the back after all of that. Importantly though, Ben Bennyworth lost that reverse grid pole position on the final lap head. JB Mesida grabbed it, and how many times have we seen him win from the reverse grid pole?
It seems like it's, It's a common theme with JB Masida, isn't it? He likes to put himself in the perfect positions in those second races, and credit to him, we didn't actually see that overtake happen, did we?
No, we did not, and because of iRacing and our live timing software, we cannot now. But there are cars out on track. Stuart Clark is out on the circuit at the moment. We have the warm-up session still going on, but if you bear with me and Ed for about 5 minutes, we're just going to take a quick break here on Chaz Draycott Media, and we'll be back with you in a moment's time for the second race of the night, round number 16. We'll see you in a few. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott and Ed May here for the penultimate race meeting of the British Boring Car Championship here in Season 4 on Chaz Draycott Media. Thanks once again to our championship sponsors, Orris Digital and Abruzzi and Derbyshire Holiday Homes. Sorry, I just nearly burped them really loud. I just went to get a new drink between the two races and it nearly all just came back out. Jake Cranstone is your British Boring Car Champion for season number 4. He's been amazing all season, and it's been very exciting to see him head to the top spot finally of this championship after losing out to Henry Morse in Season 3. In terms of the drivers themselves, though, we've got a change between Sam Van Alst and John Bailiff. John Bailiff now moves up into second in the championship by 1 point over his teammate. Stephen Burns holds on to 4th position. But in the independents, Ed, this man who we're looking at right now, Taylor Adams, has started to break away even further. 8 points clear now in the independents.
Yeah, Taylor Adams with a great showing there. His qualifying was so impressive considering he had no one to help him. Qualified on the front row alongside, well, now champion Jake Cranstone. Gave him a great fight as well. Just lost out, I think, with the 2 Notaphone cars working together. I think it was always going to be hard for Taylor Adams when those two nose to tail. They could essentially plan things out a little bit more and conspire against him. So still great for Taylor to get that result in the Independence Trophy. Now can see what he can do from a bit further back. Needs to build up some ground to JB Masida, who is going to be on pole position and at least at the moment pouring back some points in the Mediocre Cup for Independence, if obviously it finishes as it starts on the grid, which never happens in the second race.
No, never. And one of the interesting things about the independents as well that can be quite infuriating, and I'm sure Taylor felt that at the end of the last race, is you could win the independents out of all of them. You know, he finished, 4th overall? The next independent down was in 10th place, and he still only gained 2 points on them. You can pour your heart out in one of these races, finish in the top 3, have the other guy finish 14th, but as long as they're the next independent, you only gain 2 points on them. It's quite brutal, but we love a brutal point system over here on Chaz Draycott Media, and that's just how it goes for these independents. And the like, the cars will now disappear from your screen, and we will prepare for the second race of the evening. A slightly longer one this time round, 25-minute race for the second one of the evening, and it's going to be an absolute corker, this is. Let's have a look at the grid then. And it is JB Masida on pole position with Patrick Dopart alongside him. Are we finally going to see Patrick have a good second race of the night? We'll have to wait and see. Next up is Kyle Ridley and Duncan Murray. Andy Fox alongside Stephen Burns. Then it's Taylor Adams and Sam Van Alst. John Bailiff and race 1 winner and now new champion Jake Cranstone. Ben Bennyworth next up with Togo Hisada alongside him. Eric Manintveld, Aaron Smith and Stuart Clark will complete the grid. And there is the view back from JB Masida on front row, pole position. Do you think he can do it, Ed?
We'll see. He's got a good track record, doesn't he, JB Masida, of converting these second race pole positions into victories. He's very rapid, so we'll see if he can do that here tonight. But the lights go out. We are racing here for the final time at Donington Park. Even start like it was in the first race between the front row sitters. Patrick Dopart around the outside, going to try his best to get the momentum, actually going for a switchback manoeuvre, see if that will help him out with the momentum side by side between Van Alst and Adams, Fox and Burns as well, going at each other's throats as they go down through the curves. There's a lot of contact, and it's Fox and Van Alst. Big impact there from Andy Fox. That entire rear right quarter busted in, and that's his race over and done within those afters as Sam Van Alst joins onto the circuit, eventually into the path of another car, and that is, well, both Van Alst and Fox out of the running. Big implications for Notaphone in the championship for their teams, though, isn't it?
I really don't know what was happening there. I think they got slightly stuck together, and then Andy just ended up across the front of Sam. Neither of them wanted to lift, and it was a massive accident for Andy Fox. Huge hit into the barrier. Let's have a look here. So Sam's over to the left. Andy slots into the middle, and then there they just bounce off each other once. Then Andy's gone back over to the left. I think he's tried to save it, but then I don't know. That's a really weird one, isn't it? Because he's turning in, he's staying away from Stephen Burns. He nearly gets clipped, He's over to the right, wants to sit behind Stephen, but look, he just comes off the steering a little bit there, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's a case of you made your bed, now lie in it, but I mean, could have been the feedback that pulled him back that way. So we never know, do we? At the end of the day, it's one of those things in the heat of the moment. He could have been looking at Sam and looking in his mirror and thinking, right, just going to squeeze him, just going to send the message and say you're not coming through, and it's backfired massively. But unfortunate that for Andy and for Sam. Sam has continued on, obviously no major damage on his car. He's already getting back past Aaron Smith, but it was the rejoin from Sam that scared just about everybody, wasn't it?
Yeah, we'll have a look here. So we're on board with Sam. The two of them, I think you're right, they just get stuck together. There's a little bit of contact, then more, and then Sam, he's slowing down. He's trying to rejoin onto the left-hand side of the circuit, but, well, it's so hard around there. He needs to get on the circuit at some point, but where can you filter in?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was Ben Bennyworth, wasn't it, that made contact with him. Door-to-door stuff at the bottom of the old hairpin. Not easily done down there. Biggest mover in the field so far? Well, there's 4 of them. Jake Cranstone, Togo Hisada, Eric Manintveld and Stuart Clark have all gained 3 places each. And they are all having a good run so far during this second race of the night. The top 4 currently as they were as this race started. It is JB Masida leading not just the race but the independents as well. And it's Patrick Dopart, Kyle Ridley and Duncan Murray. And then a little gap back to Stephen Burns, who's got Taylor Adams and Jake Cranstone all over the back of him. Taylor is now going to get the favour returned of a car right up his backside for the whole race with very similar pace.
Yeah, see Jake Cranstone at work. He always does in these moments. Masida, is that with a slowdown? Is he going to lose out on the lead of the race? Dopart right there behind him. Yes, it is. Dopart now into the lead of the race. JB Masida. Slowdown penalty, dropping back into 3rd place.
Gutting.
Gutting for him indeed, yeah. All that hard work. Put himself in a great position and then, seemingly in one little mistake, throws it all away.
Yeah, it's absolutely devastating that. And he's also lost another place to Duncan Murray as well. And they're now side by side once again as they head down towards, well, head up towards turn 1. It is downhill actually at Donington Park, but then uphill again as you get to the corner as Duncan has second thoughts about turning in. Taylor Adams and Stephen Burns side by side in the background as well. It seems like these independents really want to put up the fight. There's nothing on paper that says that they're slower than the non-independent drivers. Obviously, used to be the case in the British Touring Car Championship that the independents were slower because of simple, less funding and all that sort of stuff. And unfortunately, Jordan Gamer GT commenting in the chat, mate, good to see you and thank you very much for the interest, but this is the final running of the British Touring Car Championship here on iRacing as well. After this season, there will not be another one. This is the final episode, so to speak, and this the penultimate ever meeting. As Ed said just earlier, this is the last time that we're going to go racing at Donington Park in boring cars as well, and it's been a circuit that has always thrown up great drama, hasn't it, Ed?
It always has done. JB Masida, well, he's lost out on one position, could lose out on more here, side by side between himself and Duncan Murray. So could try and find his way past on the outside, but it's always going to be difficult. Is that going to be another slowdown there for JB Masida? He went pretty hot into the chicane. It seems to be fine, but that was kind of very close. Look at that to the right-hand side of the circuit as well. Battling going on between Cranstone is trying to find his way through on Stephen Burns. He was very late on the brakes, almost keeping himself alongside, but on the exit of the corner just can't carry the momentum. Jake, brilliant move there to get up into 5th place already now. Well, we've got about a sprint's worth of racing to go. 20 minutes, just shy of that, remaining in this race, and Jake Cranstone's already up into 5th place.
Yeah, great stuff then from Cranstone, making more moves. Patrick Dopart is at the front of the race, but I don't want to talk about it. Kyle Ridley's in 2nd position. JB Masida 3rd. Then Duncan Murray. And, well, I tell you what, it's going to be exciting to see just how these guys can battle together and keep it clean. We know that they have the ability to. Taylor Adams and John Bailiff rubbing paddles down the craners. I tell you what, who else but these pair? Taylor doesn't want to give an inch. John never will. And just clinging to the right rear corner of that Jetta, he manages to make his way through. It is very, very exciting stuff. Great racing from all these guys.
Yeah, brilliant battling here. Sean Bailiff inside. Togo Hisada showing what he can do as well. It's been much better for Togo, hasn't it, in this second race, up 3 places. His first didn't quite go to plan. He got just shuffled back through the pack, which is easily done here at Donington Park. It's a very momentum-based circuit. If you get thrown off your rhythm, there's so many other cars right behind you willing to pounce and take advantage. Now look at the huge train of cars. This goes all the way to the lead of the race. Patrick Dopart and Kyle Ridley battling it out. There's Duncan Murray, slow down penalty in behind JB Mercedes, so he could lose out to Jake Cranstone. Jake could find himself up into 4th.
He could be. He's making oh, hello. No, never mind. Mercedes and Murray. I could just hear crumpling and scraping, and all of a sudden it has gone to pot down there at the hairpin. JB Mercedes and Duncan Murray getting friendly.
Third.
And now Jake Cranstone finds himself in a podium position. Duncan Murray and Stephen Burns rattling off each other as well. Oh, Murray still with a slowdown. Goodness me, what on earth happened between these lot here? This was earlier.
This was the old hairpins. He was still going at it as they have been for most of the race. JB Mercedes chucks into the old hairpin. Duncan Murray perfectly judges the momentum of Murray there.
Let's have a look at it later on.
Back manoeuvre.
No.
Still up the hill they go. This was later on in towards Coppice.
Oh my god, there's so much of it. I'm sorry, everyone. So they were side by side through here. Look at that. Clinging to each other. And then it all unfortunately went to pot as I think it was Jake Cranstone went through on them. Here we go. Duncan's on the inside. Oh, JB went late. Bounces off Kyle Ridley, actually. I didn't think Kyle was even involved in any of that. Wow. Crazy stuff.
Okay. JB Mercedes now into 4th place, dropped back in behind Jake Cranstone, who, I mean, well, are we already going to project so that it could be back-to-back victories for Cranstone on the night where he becomes a champion?
It'd be the first time anyone's done it this season, I'm pretty sure. No, actually, Morgan Burkhardt, Brands Hatch.
Burkhardt did it.
Yes, it was Morgan Burkhardt did it when we first went to Brands Hatch earlier on in the season. Rounds 5 and 6? Yes, rounds 5 and 6. So, it won't be the first time we've seen it this season, but it'd be, I think, even more pivotal and a nail in the coffin on the championship from Jake's perspective.
Here we go. Stephen Burns following him, and JB Mercedes. JB's been, I think, well, the focal point of this race really was on pole position.
Yeah.
And been in the midst of every single battle that's been going on track, it feels like. Really been, well, getting his entry fees worth for this race at least, isn't he? Getting plenty of action and screen time. He's always great to watch though, isn't he, JB Mercedes? He's brilliant at fighting, brilliant at defending as well. I think it was Silverstone where he got his first race victory in that second race of the evening.
Yeah.
Just put up a brilliant defence. I think it was against actually Stephen Burns, if I remember rightly.
I think it was, yeah. Let me have a quick look through the results for that, because he was first. It was John Bailiff was second. Bailiff was right behind, yeah. I think Stephen Burns, I think Stephen Burns in that race, didn't he fall quite far down in the final moments? I think he was having a good race and then he dropped back. I can't quite remember, but yeah, we've got a very close field once again. Despite Andy Fox, who was obviously down after his earlier incident, the whole field is separated by less than 9 seconds at this present moment. Dopart still leads, and he's getting defensive over on the left-hand side for a moment there, as you can see. Doesn't want to be any part of that.
Whole race in one shot there as we go into the chicane.
Yeah, so
beautiful stuff. This is why we love the boring cars, isn't it? And why we'll be sad to see it go. It's ending on a high, and Jake Cranstone's going to look to end the night on a high now as he goes up into second place, potentially battling with Kyle Ridley. Bit cautious on the brakes there, but instead he's focusing on the exit, getting a great drive out. But look at Ridley, he's using all of the circuit to carry as much momentum as possible in towards the second part of this complex, the inside line for the final corner. It should be enough to defend and hold on to that second place. All the while they're battling. Patrick Dopart, I mean, dare we speak it? Is he going to have a good second race?
Dopart's out there. He's on the circuit. We know that much. That's all we know. Patrick Dopart is on track, everybody. But we've got these 6 cars all glued together, hopping and skipping and jumping over the curbs as well. Kyle Ridley in second place. Jake Cranstone's gained 7 spots. JB Mercedes still leads the independents as well, but he's got Stephen Burns, then Taylor Adams. Taylor right behind him. So we need to start looking at some independent points as well and see what it's like there. So it would obviously be JB taking the 10 points here from Taylor Adams, who would lose 2 points in his championship lead, but not to the likes of Togo Hisada. So it's going to be mighty, mighty spicy in that championship in the independents, isn't it, Ed?
Yeah, incredibly intense. Togo Hisada, like you say, one of those independents now with a huge gaggle of cars up in front of him. Needs to get through John Bailiff before he can focus on scoring more championship points. Taylor Adams is his next target. He's got Eric Manetfeld as well in behind to worry about. If Eric gets ahead of him, that's a few more points taken away from him, what he could hope to earn. Meanwhile, Kyle Ridley, has he been able to gain on Patrick Dopart this past lap? Not really. He's been more defending from Cranstone than anything else. And Cranstone's actually having to go a bit defensive there as JB Messina fancies a little bit of a position. Here we go. But he's actually also had to defend from Stephen Burns, who had a little look to the inside. They're all sort of moving to attack while also having to defend, and it's all causing all sorts of, well, dramas and unease for Stephen Burns and Jamie Messina. Lovely little feint to the inside, wasn't it, from Burns?
Yeah.
Of lured Messina into a false sense of security, dove up the inside, kept it nice and tight as well, not to run out wide into him. Jamie Messina, though, with a great exit, has been able to retain the position. Switch back potentially for Burns. Curran, no, not quite enough momentum out of the corner. Patrick Dopart, now the gap is over a second between himself and Kyle Ridley.
Yeah, he's starting to get away, but still 12 minutes left to go here in round 16 of the British Boring Car Championship here from Donington Park. Hope you're enjoying the show here on Chaz Draycott Media, everybody. Thanks once again to the championship sponsors, Abruzzi, Orris Digital and Derbyshire Holiday Homes. Taylor Adams, second in the independent scrap here, hoping to get further forward. I tell you, they've had a really good fight, all these guys, in this second race. And we're just over the halfway point of it. It could still kick off. We've got John Bailiff, 7th place, car 7P7. Second in the championship at the moment is John, but his teammate Sam Van Olst, well, he's actually made a pretty good comeback here as Sam, considering that he was off the road. Gotten ahead of Eric Manenveld and Ben Bennyworth. He's up into the top 10. Duncan Murray is next up ahead of him with, once again, another caved-in front corner on his Jetta. But Kyle Ridley, I think this might be Kyle on for his equal best result of the season. Yeah, second place at Snetterton in the first race was his best result before now, as Stephen Burns puts his nose down the inside of JB Messina again. JB's going to be fed up with these guys trying to get down the inside at that hairpin. Togo Hisada now looking to get past Bailiff. Andy Fox has overtaken his teammate Aaron Smith, apparently. Aaron not moving. I think Aaron might have been in the pit lane or something. Unfortunately, yeah, he's been into the pits and had to disappear by the look of it. That is a big, big shame. So Foxy moves up into 14th place. But yeah, we're finally going to look at him. Patrick Dopart leads this race. 10 minutes to go. Kyle Ridley second. Jake Cranstone third. JB Messina fourth. Is Dopart going to be able to hold on? Just to recuperate on Patrick's season, he's had 2 second places and 2 thirds. But they've all been in race 1 of the day. And the best result he had from a race 2 has been 7th all season. It's been a real curse for him. It's been an absolute curse. He's had a 13th, a 16th, an 11th, 4 10th places in race 2 of the night.
Yeah, and you mentioned the word curse, so I'm not going to say anything about Patrick Dopart for now. I'm
Yeah.
going to let his driving do the talking and focus on everything going on in behind him. Kyle Ridley and Cranstone duking it out for second place. Cranstone's been, I think, really clever about how he's approached this. He withstood a lot of pressure from JB Messina. Now he's got a bit of a buffer. He can start to focus more on Kyle. Take that little bit of a gamble, backing off just slightly as they go through the chicane, trying to focus on the exit, get a good run in towards the hairpin. But Kyle is so strong through that part of the circuit, it's really going to frustrate Jake. And actually, Jake's moving to the inside. I think less of as an overtaking manoeuvre, but more to cover off the advance of JB Messina in behind, who's still looking for that podium place.
Burying the headlight in the rear bumper as well as JB Messina almost smashes the bulb. At least it'll be well adjusted. But wow, he's having a real ding-dong here trying to get past these guys. But that's the thing. These guys are all so good in this car that the extra 1% pace is just so difficult to unlock. Cranstone is one of the only drivers to really unlock that, but you see as these seasons go on, longer and longer, the guys just get faster and faster, and the competition gets closer and closer. You know, in the first race meeting of the season, it was very clear that, you know, there was a bit of a divide in the pace, and we could see that from the offset, but now there's such a deadlock, isn't there? Everybody is so equal on pace right now. It's wonderful to see.
It's been absolutely amazing to see. Of course, the field is close together. We see basically the whole race in one shot, don't we? There's that lovely camera shot coming out of Coppice all the way down in towards the chicane. It's brilliant to have such a tight grid, so competitive all the way up and down. That means that all of the drivers, well, see all the positions that they could gain, and it gives them that much more incentive to fight and battle. And gives a brilliant show. JB Mercedes, another slowdown for him. Can he serve it without losing any positions? He's going to be very careful about how he does it. Obviously, he doesn't want to cause any accidents in doing so.
Look at that, though.
In front.
I was going to say how Cranstone has now gotten ahead of Kyle Ridley. After this, Kyle's gone deep into the old hairpin. That's where he got it done. But it was... Oh, no, Kyle Ridley's got one as well. Oh, no, look at all them places he's got to give up. There's contact in front. I think Stephen Burns has had a bit of drama. JB Mercedes still has that slowdown. He's going to have to get desperate now in serving that. Oh, no. He's thrown it into the wall. Oh, he's decided that's that. I think it disqualified him. Yeah, he got the black flag. He got a drive-through. And JB has given up on this race. That is a huge shame. Started on pole position. It's really not gone his way. And you could see the frustration from a mile off. You can see it from Kyle Ridley as well now. He wants to move forward and get those places back that he's just lost. There's still 6 3/4 minutes to go. And the only driver stopping Jake Cranstone from winning 2 races on the trot on the night that he becomes champion is the driver that's had the worst luck compared to pace in race 2 all season.
Oh, a massive check up there, Kyle Ridley. I thought he was going to barrel into the back of him there.
Yeah.
Amazing that didn't happen. But Bailiff with the slowdown as well, actually. Was that potentially to do with the incident involving Togo Hisada?
Oh, lovely.
Really darting up the inside. Brilliant. Caught Togo Hisada completely unawares.
Yeah, John was going to serve...
as well, actually.
And it just on me. He was going to serve the slowdown penalty, was John, and he went to move out of the way, and Kyle went, all right, then fine, Togo's not going to do it, I'm going to do it. He's now run wide out of Coppice, though. Duncan Murray wants to take advantage of this. He's looking to the left-hand side of Togo. He's trying to squeeze him. I wouldn't do that with that much of Duncan's car missing. It shows you what he's been up to before. The two of them get very friendly in towards the chicane. Duncan gets back onto the racing line. Togo tries to keep his nose down the inside to show Kyle Ridley that he means business. And there goes the run from Sam Van Olst as he returns into this pack once more. Cranstone has the lead of the race over Patrick Dopart. He's the first person to topple Dopart as Murray ends up off the road. With Van Olst and Hisada involved, Murray has a slowdown penalty. Good God, what is going on, Ed?
God, indeed. We'll see. Sam Van Olst. This is him battling away. Oh, and almost into the back of Togo Hisada. Ooh, squeaky bum time there. Togo Hisada just gets the tap up the rear, full throttles it, keeps it going. Now, Cranstone leading ahead of Dopart. Could be a brilliant night for Cranstone if he's able to hold on. Still, though, for Dopart, this is a great podium potential for him, and he's got a lot of time in behind, doesn't he? Stephen Burns, nearly 3 seconds back.
I just saw the Chicken Nugget has commented saying, let's go Dopart, just as Patrick Dopart lost the lead, just followed by, no! Oh, it's absolutely devastating timing, but Cranstone was just unstoppable. That first lap where he was on his own, he caught right up to Dopart, almost a second, as no, Maninveld now. Oh, Maninveld's decided to throw it at the scenery as well after getting a black flag. Is that from Duncan Murray? No, I think he's just going to run wide here, is he? Yeah, he gets a 1X and he's, yep. Bang! Throws it at the scenery. It's very entertaining, but yeah, it's a shame that there's a few of them coming out there. At least for his sake, it's been overwritten now by a black and orange flag rather than just a black flag as Stephen Burns sends a warning shot to Taylor Adams. Taylor says, not on your life. Down the inside, side by side through the chicane. Watch out for Bailiff. He's going to try and come through here. Bailiff's at the door.
Oh, there's nowhere to go. Stephen Burns covers the inside line like his life depends on it. His teammate Kyle Ridley is getting in on this as well. Watch Kyle here taking a wider line, trying to cut back. He's got to think about the points in the team's championship because Vodafone are in this as well, and Sam van Alst is right back there. But this is brilliant racing again. It's just the more the clock ticks down, the more insane this lot get.
Yeah, here we go. Kyle Ridley trying to find a gap up the inside. Just about gets it. Loses his way through on John Bailiff. Going to try and use Taylor Adams a bit. Slipstream as Burns and Adams come together. They're really not holding back now, are they, in the final 3 minutes of this race?
He doesn't need to do it. He doesn't need to do it. That's completely unnecessary. There's no point moving over on a straight. All you're going to do is turn yourself across the front of another car. Tempers are flaring here a little bit. Sam van Alst and Kyle Ridley are suddenly side by side a little bit further back. Taylor's not going to afford Steve in the room here. He's going to say, nope, I will take up every inch of this racetrack that I want to. Kyle Ridley still fighting with Sam van Alst. Round the outside goes Taylor Adams. Stephen doesn't let off the lock. He's a good boy to him. John Bailiff is now sneaking up the inside as well. This is peak boring car entertainment. Look at this. Togo Hisada now pushing Sam van Alst and Kyle Ridley. Oh, he's going to be seeing double here with these teams in front of him.
Going to have to pick his moments very carefully here. Going to try and maybe back Van Alst around the outside with the extra momentum. We'll see. Look at the extra speed that Van Alst actually takes through the corner. That's going to be brilliant for him because it's also going to help him out now in towards the chicane. He's going to have the inside line for the first part. Going actually to get a bit more slipstream off Kyle Ridley. Maybe backing off a little bit earlier. You can see this probably ending in tears. Look how late Ridley is on the brakes. Car moving under braking, but somehow Kyle keeps it going. I thought he was going to lose it massively, but no, keeps it going. Brilliant stuff from Kyle, turning what could have been a losing position into a winning one. Now though, needs to go a bit defensive. Van Alst is going to take the opportunity up the inside again, banging wheel to wheel. Thankfully, respite will come in, well, about 1 lap's time for these drivers because we are now on to the final lap of the race as Cranstone crosses the line.
Can I just confirm as well that this is for the battle from 3rd down to 11th that we're watching right now. It is absolutely balmy stuff here again in the British Boring Car Championship, but this is what it's all about. The racing is frantic, it is fantastic, and it is massive entertainment from lights to flag. Duncan Murray and Togo Hisada getting glued together. Hisada shuffles him out of the way. Murray seems to forget there's other cars on the track as well. Ben Bennyworth down the inside. Oh, God. It's crazy, isn't it? Stuart Clark now in the mix as well. Duncan's got to try and stay clear of him. It's an absolute rainbow of cars heading down towards the old hairpin. Duncan's had a really battering night, hasn't he? 6 places lost in this race and a caved-in front end on that car every time we look at him. Cranstone hasn't disappeared up the road from Dopart, you know, though, Ed, with this final half a lap. Dopart is pushing like mad to get that position back.
He is, but is it going to be too mammoth of a task to try and undertake Patrick Dopart quite with the exit he was hoping for? Cranstone was pretty comfortable to potentially now make it the perfect night, pole position and the victory in both race 1 and race 2 on the cards, as Dopart does close in a little bit as they get into the chicane, so it's not fully completed yet for Cranstone. Meanwhile, Kyle Ridley hard on the brakes, car squirming around, causes contact, loses out. Togo Hisada carries on past all of them. And is that...
Dopart's had a drama. Murray is off the road.
In the wall, is he?
Yeah, Murray's off. Oh, Bailiff! Look at that by John Bailiff. Have that, Stephen Burns, he says. Elbows him in the face on the exit. Amazing opportunism by Bailiff. We're going to have to pick this apart again in just a minute because this is going to kick off now into the final corner. But Cranstone's done it. He takes the championship in race 1 and he wins race 2. What a drive that is. Taylor Adams is going to come across the line in 2nd. John Bailiff ends up in 3rd place ahead of Stephen Burns. Patrick Dopart ends up in 5th. We'll see the festivities begin. I don't know, you know. I heard the revs drop and something... Oh, my God. Stuart Clark ends up with a black flag at the line. What on earth happened in those final moments there? That was all mayhem. Absolute mayhem. We've got... Oh, my God. What was that? It's going to carry on bouncing. Taylor Adams with not much a car left. Kyle Ridley and Stephen Burns together. Jake Cranstone. Oh, dearie me. He's been hit by John Bailiff. Let's see if anyone comes through. Oh, Jake's gone back to the pits. Where's Bailiff? No?
No one wanting to destroy him. Ben Bennyworth's got nothing left of his car. Let's just have a quick look, shall we, at what happened in those final moments of the race, because Patrick Dopart lost a lot of ground all of a sudden. Oh, he's gone straight on at the chicane and then stopped. I don't understand how. There's a bit more to this. Hang on. Look. Oh, this is way too early. Sorry, we need to get into the bottom of this. Oh, he's just gotten into like the ABS or something and gone straight on.
Was he trying a last-ditch move potentially on Cranstone? I'm not sure.
Ridley and Murray just gets caught up in that, really unfortunately, in a big accident. So Murray was right behind it all. Stuart Clark was all over the back of him. Stuart went to the right. Look, those two make contact in front. There's a huge bit of contact. Murray goes to the right and he just gets hooked around the front of Stuart Clark into the wall. And then they end up battling again. Van Olst is going to go back for revenge down the inside of Ridley. Into a bit of a kiss there. Stuart Clark ends up with a black flag at the end, which would have been a drive-through penalty. I don't know if he has another piece of contact at the end. He's got Bennyworth next to him here on the inside. He's going to try and get a cutback, and he's just going to tap him. Oh, that's an off-track. That'll be an off-track for Stuart Clark. Goodness me. Cranstone wins it. We know that much. But that's about all we know. Flipping out. That was a wild end to the race.
Still can't make sense of Dopart. Was he trying to go for a move on Cranstone, or did it just get in the ABS? He couldn't really. We saw the incident a bit late on for Dopart. So we'll see here. Ooh, just gets a bit of a checkup.
Yeah. He just about loses out to it, doesn't he? Look. Oh, he's late on the brakes and he gets out. But you know what? Fair play to Patrick Dopart, because he threw his own potential race win away there, backing out to not hit Jake. And that's really good sportsmanship, that, from Patrick Dopart. That's real selflessness. That is a massive accident for Duncan Murray in the background. But my God, the British Boring Car Championship, everybody. It once again provides colossal entertainment. Right. Excuse me, I nearly choked on thin air. Let's just have a look at some results. Jake Cranstow wins the second race of the night. Taylor Adams in second place. John Bailiff in third. They are three guys that finished in the top four in race one. Stephen Burns ends up in fourth place. Patrick Dopart is fifth. Togo Hisada second in the independents. Kyle Ridley seventh. Sam Van Olst recovers to eighth. What a drive. Ben Bennyworth ninth, and Stuart Clark is classified 10th. So I think the black flag was after the line. Although no, it wouldn't have been, because it says he's a minute down. So yeah, it was applied, but he still doesn't lose it. Duncan Murray out of the race. Andy Fox still a lap down. Eric Manintveld, JB Mazida and Aaron Smith all down and out of that one. Stuart Clark has already apologised to Duncan Murray, which is lovely to see. And we're going to see, well, of course we get to speak to this guy. He annoyed a few people at Brands Hatch last week, I believe, but he hasn't annoyed anyone here tonight. Jake Cranstow, first off, congratulations, mate. Well done on winning Season 4 of the British Boring Car Championship. You must be over the moon, especially with how close it went in Season 3.
Yeah, no, it's great. I didn't expect to win it after the sprint race, so that was a good thing. Yeah, very happy.
Absolutely, and another busy night of racing as well. A lot of shenanigans and goings on in race 2, but another night of highlighting what makes this the British Boring Car Championship, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I didn't actually see that many shenanigans myself.
Oh, wait till the replay, son.
In my rearview mirror, I think, yes.
And obviously now, you know, pressure's off slightly with taking the championship here, but still one meeting to go. You're not going to back down, are you?
No, I've got to just try my best and have as much fun, and always the goal is to be at the front, so it doesn't matter that the championship's over, I'll still be trying to do that.
Well, we look forward to that, Jake. And again, massive well done, not just for, of course, winning the championship, but 2 race wins in one night as well. What a hell of a way to do it. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty happy to have got the double after I think Morgan did it earlier in the season.
He did, I'm afraid.
he pipped me to that one, but oh well, it's all right. Yeah, shout out to my mum and Ali and Dave watching along as well, and anyone else. Shout out to you guys for putting this on. Thanks for a great last championship. It's been great fun racing the Jetta and with all the guys again. It's just it's an absolute laugh in the voice chat, so I love doing it every week.
Well, we certainly love putting it on for you, Jake, and we look forward to the final meeting of Boring Cars next time out. And yeah, thanks for being a part of it as always, and well done again.
You just put the driver chat on the live stream whilst we're doing it. Is that?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, there might be a lot of censoring.
Well, Ed could do that. He'll have the censor button.
Yeah.
Whilst,
Ed will be standing by. We'll have some talks about something special for the last round, I reckon.
Cool. All right.
Cheers, Jake. Thank you.
Bye.
There you go. Season 4 champion Ed, and I tell you what, he deserved that one, didn't he? He had a tough time of it in Season 3 fighting Henry Morse. They were so close all season, and now, from just missing out last time to... I mean, he's decimated it this time round, hasn't he? It may only be one meeting left to go, but flipping heck, he's absolutely flown.
Yeah, he was absolutely at the very top of his game, and he illustrated that perfectly in that second race from 10th place up to first. He made so much headway, didn't he, in the early phase as well. When everyone else was getting a little bit too hot-headed, he kept his cool and carried on brilliantly to cap off what has been a very good night for him, and also what could be a very important night for his team as well. Might just fit in the championship.
Well, they're up against the team of the driver who we drag in now, John Bailiff. Good to see you, John. Another busy night of racing for you, plenty to do, but some really strong results in the end. Double podium finish for you, so lots of points to bring home for your championship.
Definitely, it's went a lot better than I thought it might, given that I sort of was towards the bottom of the top 10 in practice, but it seems this track's all about just being precise and avoiding those off tracks. Particularly with the instant limit as it is, you can't afford to be pushing those too much, and the slowdowns that quite a few people are getting. So it's just about, I think, avoiding those and just trying to stick with everybody else, and then making moves when they appeared.
Well, it looked like quite a fun quite a fun track to lob this car around, because it's all about commitment in something like this in front wheel drive, isn't it? Especially with not a lot of power. Did it feel like that in the cockpit?
Yeah, and you're trying to push it, but then obviously not, because you don't want to get the slowdown. Like I don't know how Taylor was so good at the chicane. I think he was, probably one of the best through there. I just didn't have the bravery to do that. I was like, I'm going to get a slowdown, and then it's all over.
And we saw a few times tonight, one slowdown ruined a few drivers' nights, to say the least. It was crazy how quickly it went downhill. But, Jake has clinched the championship, but you've got a hell of a fight on your hands with that teammate of yours, haven't you? There seems to be no team orders.
No, well, in the first race, we were just sort of chilling and sort of going along with the top two, and then I think it just sort of played out that Sam got a run, so he went through. So it's like, well, I'll just sit here, and then things opened up ahead. But it's been a good fight so far.
Well, it's certainly been fantastic fun, and obviously look forward to seeing how the final meeting of the season goes. But is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just you guys for putting this on. It's been a good way to send off this championship. It's been a lot of fun, and then obviously Sam for being a good teammate.
Well, it's a pleasure as always, John. Thank you for being a part of it, mate, and we look forward to celebrating the Jetta at the final meeting of the season.
Have to do some reverse donuts.
Oh, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. We'll see you there, John. Cheers.
Thanks.
John Bailiff there. Like I say, Ed, great night for him and for the team as well. Sam may not have got as many points as he wanted in that race, but he was only the only driver that finished where he started, despite his incident.
Yeah, mad, isn't it? Really, really mad. But I tell you what, it's been a very, very exciting race meeting, wasn't it? I mean, do we have any time for one more driver to chat with, Chaz, or is that going to be...
That's all. There's no one else in.
Up? No one else waiting, so...
Stuff him.
yeah, but it's been a really great sort of penultimate race meeting, wasn't it? The action was pretty much non-stop. We saw the entire field racing together in one single shot for pretty much the entire race, which is what we love to see. It's so close here for the British Boring Car Championship, and in a week's time we'll round it all off in Silverstone with the Independence Cup just as close as ever, and as well the Teams Championship still wide open.
Yeah, it's going to be quite an amazing send-off for the Volkswagen Jetta, but We look forward to it while also not looking forward to saying goodbye. But that is all from us here on Chaz Draycott Media tonight. Thanks once again, Ed May. Thank you very much to our championship sponsors, Abruzzi, Derbyshire Holiday Homes and Orris Digital. And thanks to all the drivers for putting on such an epic show. Jake Cranstone takes Season 4 of the British Boring Car Championship, but there's still plenty to decide at Silverstone in a week's time, where we say goodbye to the Volkswagen Jetta TDI. Thanks very much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time round.
Has done enough to win the last round of the championship and to win the title all in one fell swoop.
It's the British Boring Car Championship. Things are never chilled here. Honestly, the cars may be a bit dull, but wow, the racing certainly isn't.
Fastest lap of the race now, Ben Lambert.
Look at Andy Fox coming through the middle. He makes a little bit of contact. Dave Waldock is around and he's off on the grass.
Rayfield tries to go right round the outside of Druids. You do not do that and get away with it very often.
Takes the win in round 12. There's contact again. Fraser Smith and Dennis Melchett are off the circuit.